Hey guys, what's up? This is Lizzy Jane, and you're tuning into another episode of the EXO podcast. I had the absolute pleasure sitting down with Grabbitz. He is an artist, multi-instrumentalist, producer, singer, and songwriter from Buffalo, New York. He has so many feet and so many different doors of this industry. Nick is critically acclaimed for working with artists such as deadmau and Rez, being a writer and composer for Ultra Publishing. He's working on an album currently, so that is coming so soon. It was just amazing to hear his story, what's coming next, some advice. I don't know. It was just a great conversation. I had been wanting to sit down and have the chance to talk with Nick for a long time, so when we could make it happen at Lost Lands, I was so excited to finally meet him. He is someone who, if you're not familiar with him, you absolutely should be. Check out his credits, check out all the work he's done for other artists as well as his own project. He really exists in a lane of his own, and I'll leave it there because this conversation is A1. I really, really enjoyed it. Without further ado, this is Lizzy Jane. You get exclusive first looks, ad-free podcasts, bloopers, sample packs, vocal packs, and more, all on my Patreon at www.patreon.com/thisisLizzyJane. Just go check it out. We have an awesome little community growing there. You get opportunities to talk to some of my guests one-on-one. It's a cool ordeal. And we're doing some partnerships coming up that are very exciting for 2022 that I cannot wait to tell you about. Without further ado, this is Lizzy Jane, and you're tuning into the EXO podcast. Oh, it's not even recording. There you go. But thank you for coming on today, Nick. I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for everyone
great to meet you.
Listening. I know, finally. I was looking at the lineup and I said, okay, this is my short list. We're going to reach out to this person, this person, this person. You were a long shot. I was like, he's not even going to see my DM. And then you responded. I was like, let's go. Let's do it.
Right next door.
I know.
Residence in.
Right next door.
I walked over.
Exactly. Made it happen. For everyone listening, this is Grabbitz.
What's up?
What's up? From Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York.
There we go.
That's where I'm at now, too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I left LA.
Is it, okay, so you were in for LA for a while.
I was in LA for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that must be a change, going LA.
It's slower.
Yeah.
It's slower.
But
not in my head or in the studio, but outside of all of that.
In general life. I'm from Tampa, Florida, so
Okay.
it's not that slow. However, it's not like being in LA where I
You live
enjoy.
in LA now?
No.
Okay.
But I've visited in LA for long periods of time. I used
Yeah.
to do acting when I was a kid out there in
Awesome.
Burbank and shit. So I know the LA lifestyle, not so much as an EDM producer,
Sure.
but more so just as person in the entertainment industry where it's really awesome to be around it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it can also mold you into a person that you're potentially not.
If you want to take that route,
yeah,
you can very easily.
Yeah, and I like having house, and I like having a dog, and having a studio, and having my space.
A little space, yeah.
Because when I go there and visit friends, they are in something that is about looks like 20 by 20, and
It's
you've
tough
got
in big cities.
Oh
it's tough.
yeah, no, absolutely. You've got your kitchen, your bathroom, and your bed all in the same room, and
Little studio.
That's the grind, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely value a little bit of space, a little bit of more land and greenery.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like that's helps with inspiration from a certain facet too, to be able to have room to breathe.
Sure.
But it's also cool to be around a lot of creative minds.
That's why you got to go back in spats.
Yeah.
And short little jaunts. I've been trying to go back and just, this year, 2022 coming up, I'm definitely going to focus on getting a spot that I could just go for longer stretches of time, go to LA for a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to fuck you up, but
no.
It's going to give you all the good things without,
Exactly. You go there with a mission. This is what I'm here to do.
Yep.
Not going to lollygag. This is going to be it. So when you were in LA, so you were there for 6 years, you said?
Yeah, downtown.
So was this the beginning of your career that you started in LA, or were you a musician for a very long time?
I've been a musician forever.
Okay.
I moved to LA when I got my first sync in a major TV show.
Sweet. What show was that?
CSI.
Okay.
Yeah, it was when they were doing the spinoff CSI Cyber with Patricia Arquette.
I used to watch that shit all the time. Yeah.
It's brilliant. So weirdly, through my dad, knows one of my dad's friends' cousins married this guy Anthony Zeiker, who created the whole show, like
Okay.
from the first episode. And I just got to send him some of my music, and he really liked it. And then I sent him a playlist that I made specifically for CSI, and like all the whole first 4 or 5 got synced into the show. So it was just a big, I wasn't published or anything at that time. It was just it all went to me. So it was just more than I knew how to kind of handle at that time. And I was like, okay, this is a real thing. Yeah. It's going to be a real career. I had no idea what a sync was or how much money there could potentially be in it. So then I was just hauled ass to LA.
Yeah. And I had Must Die on earlier, and we were talking about sync deals, and that's really one of the only ways that you can make a substantial amount off strictly your music now in today's world. So to have that like so long ago is like, that's like your foot in. Well, that provides you with like the financial backing to at least support like what you want to do.
Yeah, for a period of time.
Yeah, definitely. Like when you came to LA, did you always want to do like scoring work, or were you just kind of putting your foot in the door, seeing what stack, like all that?
Always that. Always putting my foot wherever I could put it, but always loved cinema, film, music and film. I've always loved that as a kid. That's how I got turned on to a lot of music, was through film or television or whatever. So basically, since I started producing on a computer, I would just make a whole bunch of shit. I would make hip-hop beats, I would rap, I would make scoring songs, and then when I got popular or whatever, one of my songs did well in EDM, that was just like trying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And doing it, being like, oh wow, this is really crazy. Skrillex majorly inspired that whole thing, and I'm like, I think I can do this if I just produce in this type of way. So.
Yes, yeah. Kind of like putting all of the pieces of the puzzle together. Do you work in Ableton? Do you work in multiple? Logic. Okay, awesome.
I can work in Ableton. Yeah. I actually like it a lot.
Yeah.
But Logic is like blindfold.
Yes. Yeah, I spoke to another producer. He's on Funk Case's label. He was here yesterday, and he's like, I swear by Logic.
Really?
And then I have my friends Duke and Jones. They swear by Logic. So
a lot of people hate on it.
I know a lot of people hate on it. I primarily do Ableton 11 and then vocal work and like Pro Tools, but I started on Logic and Reason.
Nice.
So I feel like that's like that stepping stone from like GarageBand into something that's a legitimate like DAW where you can actually lay things out and work. And did you have any like classical training or background in music when you were like a kid?
Not really. By the way, Reason is fucking great.
Reason is great.
I used to rewire Reason into GarageBand.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. So Reason was something that was really easy for me because I'm a visual learner. So like you're literally doing like patch fade work with everything on the back end. So that's what helped me understand like when I went from like metal and rock music to where we're just studio tracking, you're mixing, mastering to like, okay, now you have to like make the sounds and post-process in the DAW, and I could understand that because it's like I'm used to working with outboard gear, then going into digital. Done. Totally easy. And then when I got introduced to Ableton, I was like, I gotta fucking switch to this shit.
Ableton's like an alien. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's awesome because it's like there's just infinite things you can make, and I feel like I meet like 2 types of people. I meet like someone like yourself where they just want to make music. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. We're going to score. We're going to make hip-hop beats, do some EDM stuff. Or they have a very targeted vision of exactly what, like, they want. They're like, I'm going to do dubstep. I'm going to do future bass. So I think each of that, I personally think you learn more the more that you can expand your mind and take from influences from, like, other places. Because, like, you've had collabs with, like, Rez, like, really big artists. And, like, how did you kind of come into those circles and connect musically with like artists like Isabel?
Just by being open-minded to collaboration and meeting a ton of people, and just honestly, like staying laser focused on the craft I've always been able to reap the benefits of just staying focused on making the best music ever and not being a dick. Just meeting people and being friendly, and then also like, but it's back to business. It's like I just want to make music, and that's, you know, just making friends. Like my buddy, I remember my buddy Sean Frank sent Isabel a video from my Instagram of me singing, and he was like, "You gotta do something with Nick or whatever." And I had known Isabel for a while, but I met her a really long time ago, actually, in the back of a Dead Mouse show in a club in Toronto, when she was just starting to get super popular on like
he was the one who really put her on.
Yes. So then she sent me the demo for what was our collaboration. It just all happens, you know, there's really not, it's not complicated. The Dead Mouse thing, when I did the Dead Mouse thing, like that was just by throwing something up on SoundCloud. I just sang over one of his songs and then put it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it happens like, and that's why it's always important to never burn bridges or never be mean to anyone for no freaking reason. Because it could take one person who's like, hey, I could idealize this very well together, you guys working, one person to connect A to B, done.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of the artists that I talk to that are like incredibly successful in multiple kind of fields like yourself are very much so, as long as you stay like true to your craft and you keep working on your craft, like it will eventually happen. You just have to be patient and keep doing what like you know you're good at and improving and learning. And I'm sure like you still learn and do new techniques like to this day.
Yeah.
And you said now you're working on like a lot of like alt rock or like alt indie.
I don't know. I've always been rooted in rock.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah.
Like that's how I started making music, was just a guitar, like acoustic. So I guess as my voice got better, I started thinking that it was more of a disservice to just only sing over like EDM or whatnot. So I wanted to make more stuff that was just revolved around the voice, so I could just build my voice and sing live. That's my main thing, is I love singing. Like I just love it so much. Anything that comes out of the mouth, whether it's rapping, singing, making noises, whatever it is, matching pitch, that's my favorite thing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's like, it's kind of just rock influenced, like, I don't, songs, I guess. They're being called alternative.
Okay. I'm really excited to like hear the next, because everything you put out is you have like these different chapters, which I think is so important in an artist's like maturity or like progression to have those different, you know, things, especially looking at like predominantly like the electronic music field. You've seen artists try and kind of like switch it up, and it's really hard for their fan base to like hop on board. So, I mean,
there's a whole thing to that.
Do you ever get, I guess, nervous or you have like thought about those, like, okay, if I switch up, because you've always been someone to switch up, so your fan base knows that. But for someone, you know, who's been releasing the same things for 5 years, and then they want to change it and they want to go to a total left field, it's like that's a little bit hard to approach sometimes mentally if it's going to be successful or not. Sure.
I guess I completely, like, to my own detriment, sacrificed strategy for just making what I want to make. There's definitely a game to that, and like, I think as I started making more left field stuff or focusing more on my vocals and whatnot, it definitely alienates some people who are just in it for, you know, whatever they want to consume from you, you know. But I just try and keep everybody happy, you know. I try and make a drop every now and then, or I still work on EDM stuff. I just put out a VIP of one of my more alternative songs that has a drop in it,
which is super cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. And that kind of, I saw a few artists do that where they kind of went into the realm of like R&B hip hop, where they went more poppy, and then the VIPs that they did were all like drum bass or jungle or this. And that's a very, because I feel like you can take any song, like I have like some crazy Kanye West like flips for drum bass for tomorrow, and like you can take any, I feel like I will like record, songs, pop, hip hop, whatever, and add your electronic spin on them, whereas I feel like it's hard to go the other way. I feel like in electronic music you have like records and then you have tracks, and like what I feel like what I'm seeing more of in EDM, more in like the underground sphere, is songwriting and actual like lyrical impressions starting to go more into EDM instead of just I'm gonna take a free drop lyric from Splice, I'm gonna throw it in the 4-bar measure, and that's gonna be it. Because it's like everyone loves a good banger, but at the end of the day, you like see the success of like an actual song structure where you've got the verse and the pre-chorus and the bridge and all of that stuff intertwined into the drama. And I guess it's like to each their own. Obviously, all art is biased.
Sure, it's all meant to do the same thing. It's all meant to make you feel something. So no matter how it's formatted, if it does that correctly, then it does it.
And then it does, yeah.
Like heavy bass music, someone could scoff at it, but maybe they're just used to consuming different formats of music, because heavy bass music makes people feel things the same way like 9 Inch Nails or something makes me feel like heavy rock or whatever.
Yes.
And the same reason why dubstep captivated me when I heard it in the first place. You can't go into it ever biased. That's one thing I think that has always made me feel very calm and confident about it, because I just never said fuck EDM.
Yeah.
I just said like, hey, I love it. I just got to do this because it's calling me over here, you know?
Yeah, and there's always time to like make more art. So it's like, it's not like you're gonna like run out of time to make this if you don't make something in another genre.
Sure.
So what were some of your like main inspirations to get into electronic music?
Into electronic music? Yeah. I guess before it became like a movement, I was always super inspired by The Prodigy.
Okay, yeah.
And like hearing techno or dance music before it became a thing, very popular, was always really novelty to me. Very cool. Like even just the Mortal Kombat theme. I was just like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. The Sandstorm came out, like, and we were not, like, we're music lovers in my family. So, like, me and my brother and my dad, we all, like, share music or whatnot. We would listen predominantly to, like, 90s rock in the 90s. But then when Sandstorm came out, it was in our playlist.
Yeah.
Like, always. It was on CDs. It just captivated me. So, like, at a young age, it captivated me. And then when I got introduced to Skrillex around 11 or so.
That was it.
I mean, yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It floored everybody, no matter what disciplines or inspirations you come from. It floored everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why, and like, he's the perfect example of, I mean, you look at pop stars and you even look at somebody like Skrillex, and somebody who reinvents himself. He reinvents himself all the time. And that's how you have to, I guess, quote unquote, stay relevant or whatever. I don't even know if it's like a relevancy, but I hope that like term kind of starts to go away. I would love for it to go away, but it's really nice to see people at the forefront who do that all the time. Because I even think of like Madonna, I think of Pink, I think of all of like the pop stars. You know, they would come out with a different look. They'd come out with a different album that's totally left field.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had a Little Texas remix drop on Lady Gaga's freaking album, which is amazing. Yeah, that is crazy. Which is amazing. Like hitting Billboard numbers with like, so nuts. I think it's like 207 BPM or some shit. Like, which is so crazy. But it's like, that just shows you that like people are open-minded. You just have to present it to them in like the correct format. Sure. And like somebody will relate to it. Like somebody will, you know, there's just so many people out there that you will be able to connect with someone eventually. As far as like sync deals go, do you still compose for, you know, film, TV, video games here?
Yeah, like I'm published by Ultra Publishing, and they host like camps and whatnot where you do more trailer directed stuff. It all depends on like what part of the year I'm in. Like I've been in album mode for the last like long time, months and months. But when there's time where you're not finishing an album or something, it all depends on where you want to spend your time. Like I always try and be more organized than I used to be. I would just make a bunch of stuff, and then I would approach a week like every day this week I'm going to make a hip hop beat, and at the end I'm going to have 7 beats. Yeah. And like I'm just going to do it before I work out or something. I'm just going to make a quick beat and then polish it at night, and then make it in the morning and then polish it at night. So if you want to do hip hop beats or if you want to do trailer stuff, you know, it's your choice. Sometimes you've been more inspired by certain things. Like when I learned more from some of the guys that are really good at trailer stuff, then you get inspired and you're like, okay, that's fucking cool. Like you never realized how fucking crazy trailer music is.
Oh, absolutely. And Brandon Swarm, he was like one of, because he's from Florida as well. So he was one of the
today, I think.
Yes, yeah, he does. He was one of the first people who, like, when I got into EDM, he's like, let's fucking do something, because I came from like metal, and his orchestration and the way that he writes is very cinematic, and very much so reminded me. He was the first one who was like, you gotta get Contact, you gotta get Omnisphere, you gotta get this stuff. And I was like, okay. But for like, in reference to like trailer things, like, would you work off like a visual representation? Like, are you all given things that need trailers to be written, or are you writing from nothing?
No, the visual stuff is usually for like the people that are hired to make the trailer.
Okay.
Like, but when you're trying to pitch stuff and just get it landed, sometimes it has to do with like taking a song that already exists and making it more trailery.
Okay.
That's
cool. That's
like doing like a Metallica song, or doing like, Unforgiven by Metallica or something, and then you just slow it down and make it real creepy, and there's like a whole fad of time where that was happening in like every trailer. They would do Heart-Shaped Box, or they would do whatever, and you pretty much just choose what you're going to do. That's the easiest one to normally just tackle, because if you know the song especially, you can kind of, how am I going to make this into a trailer thing? The other stuff is just more of the original stuff, I guess, probably tougher, but
that really has to fit like somebody who's exactly looking for what you're writing.
Yeah, but there's a formula to it though.
Okay.
There's like, there's your beginning. There's almost 3 parts. There's the beginning, then there's the big part, then there's the back end, they call it, which is like massive. Like, that's when it's,
that's like the climactic. Yeah.
So
that's fucking awesome.
You can make original music like that. It actually comes out pretty sweet, and it's entertaining and stimulating as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I really like that's like an exercise that I've never even thought about, that I would love to do, is taking like a metal song and doing a totally different orchestration.
You should
taking
do
like
it.
a Whitechapel song and like slowing it down and doing something with the vocals, because that would definitely like inspiration. And like, when you go through those phases when you're doing trailer work, are you doing all of the work, or is it more a team facilitated operation?
Well, for like the camps and stuff, it's team. You like rotate in and out with people.
You have to learn so much though from those.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done a lot of work with my buddy Mark Evans. He's really good at it.
Mark Evans, his artist name.
Mark the Beast.
Yeah. Okay. He did a lot of mix and master work for a long time.
Yeah, he's
a lot of people.
He's a G.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Like phenomenal. Yeah.
He's really good. And we got into the publishing thing at the same time.
Okay.
So we kind of both learned about that new world or whatever at the same time.
Whole different world.
It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, you get paired up with people, you make up your own, whatever. I mean, I haven't made as much this past year as I did like last year.
So you're working on an album?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it? So
it's done.
It's done. Oh shit.
It's like done.
It's like done. Anymore. It's done. Yeah. So how long have you been working on it?
I don't know if I even am supposed to be able to talk about this, but
you don't have to talk about it.
It's a long time coming.
Okay, it's a long time coming.
I came out with an album in 2017 independently, because that's when I took like my big step in the direction of like, I'm gonna sing, and
I'm gonna do this.
Never really got a chance to have a sequel.
Yeah.
Just from the jumbo of the music industry and like trying to put things out here and trying to stay afloat here.
Take opportunities as they come, like.
Yeah, I just never got that chance, so I just stockpiled.
COVID was that perfect opportunity.
It was great. Yeah, and having someone else come out with Rez helped a lot.
And that got radio play.
As a life changer.
That was one of her first songs that got radio play, which is huge.
Insane.
Yeah.
And in such a new world.
Like on like, I know we're from different places, but like it was on my pop channels, which is fucking crazy.
So crazy.
You're just like alternative channel. You turn it to the pop channel. It's on their rotation. And you're just like, okay, so like we're jamming to EDM now, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. Like we're in such a bubble that you don't realize that when somebody is just listening to music and they come across like a song like someone else, it starts off what they know about music, which is songs, singing, and guitar. And then it goes into this thing that that could have the same effect on somebody as when we first heard Skrillex.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know, like they could just be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the voice comes back in, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's something that is, I mean, you're going from, if you go from 21 Pilots to you to Fall Out Boy, you're going to be like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And that's so dope. And do you write your own lyrics as well, or do you guys have lyrics? That's super, super awesome. I always think that there's something, I totally get the team vision, and I understand on certain projects you have to have other people come in.
Sure.
I think there's something very special about being able to write your own lyrics. And I get it's that point. And I know you have to go soon.
No, that's okay. I was just checking the time.
Oh, no, you're fine. But we were about to wrap
We're good until I get.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, so I was just curious. I felt like if you did write your lyrics, so I just wanted to ask because you never know.
When I write my own lyrics, they tend to be more wacky.
Yeah.
They're always more wacky because there's not somebody saying like, we could probably beat that line, which is okay and you have to do.
Yeah.
Like that way you end up with probably a more refined, less flawed lyrically project, but then sometimes you just want to blab. Like on this new album, like there's so many songs where I just blab, like I almost sound like a total crazy person. Like how you know, Kurt Cobain used to write, like, it's not, Kurt Cobain would not survive in a fucking LA session.
No.
He'd be like, what about drippings from the ceiling? And they'd be like, all right, nah, dude.
Yeah, like, no. But that's like, you get to be yourself, which is special. Mm-hmm. And are you, I can't ask if you're independently releasing or not, so I'm not going to do that.
I'm not. I signed with Hopeless Records.
Oh, no fucking way.
Just this album.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so
Hopeless is like, I grew up listening to Hopeless Records.
They are such an incredible team.
Ice Nine Kills, all those fucking guys. Oh my god.
They like changed the way I viewed labels.
Okay, now I'm like idealizing. Oh really? So your experience with them was like
amazing, and it still is. We still work.
That's amazing.
Like, no, you know, I mean, we're just at the cusp of this whole thing.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad I finally got the chance to sit down with you and talk a little bit.
I love talking shop.
Hell yeah. No, I just like, this is why I do this, because like there's a few people who do podcasts, but you don't really get to see this other side of the artist too often unless you know them personally.
Yeah.
And this was awesome. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully the listeners learned some stuff. I picked your mind about some stuff I was curious about that not a lot of artists here are knowledgeable about. So thank you for coming and sharing that information.
Next time we'll reverse it. I'll have to ask
you. Oh man. All right. I'm down for that. I know it's here it's more of like when we have like that 3-hour time span, I get to really go back and forth. Yeah. But here it's like, I want to know about you. I want everybody to know about you. And then next time we'll do it again in the future sometime. And we'll just drink a lot of coffee.
We'll kick it for a while.
That sounds good. Well, I greatly appreciate it, Nick.
Thank you.
Everybody check out Grabbitz. Got an album on the way. Let's fucking do it. EXO Podcast, Lost Lands. See ya. What a great episode. Thank you guys for tuning in yet again. We have Jessica Odford as well as Swarm coming up on the podcast so soon. So keep your eyes peeled. Do not forget to follow me on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. You know the deal. I love you guys very much. I will see you next week for another episode of the EXO Podcast.